Dinnie and good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. And welcome to Dinnie in Virginnie. I'm your host, Dinnie, here in Virginnie. Where in Virginia, you might ask? Why, I'm just here at Dinnie and Virginnie, the podcast. And welcome to episode 3 of Dinnie and Virginnie, the podcast. So, on today's episode, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be going over what to do when there's nothing to do. But before we get into that, I just wanted to start off the episode by reviewing our goals and visions. So here at Dinnie and Virginnie, we are trying to broadcast this great state of Virginia. And so we are trying to highlight local businesses, people, places, things, and events in the great state of Virginia and just promote the culture of Virginia is for lovers. So we're just trying to do that by highlighting the wonderful things we have available, easily available here in the great state of Virginia, and highlighting great Virginians. We will be getting to that in the future. But for now, I just want to remind you guys that this is Dinnie and Virginnie. I am Dinnie. We are here in the great state of Virginia, aka Virginnie, and we're just having a great time. So, as you can tell by the title, we are going to talk about what to do when there is nothing to do. So, for this episode, what to do when there's nothing to do. I don't know if you're like me, but the time when I was most thinking that there's nothing to do in this state was when I was in high school. So at that time, a lot of people were like, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to leave this state, and I'm never going to come back. And I was one of those people who was like, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to finally leave, and I'm going to be a big star or like a head of a company or something and make all this money. I'm never going to come back. Well, that didn't happen because I went to college here in the state of Virginia and I stayed living in Virginia. I've always lived in Virginia since high school. Not my entire life, but for most of my life. And so there was a period of time when, for real, I just thought there was nothing to do here. And that was because I was never actually looking. So first and foremost, if you think there is nothing to do, then you are correct. There is nothing to do. That's just the rule of life. But if you believe there is something to do, then you are also correct. There is something to do. Most of you know this principle. I don't know the name of this principle. I don't know who was the first person that said it. But if you believe one thing, it's true. If you believe the other thing, it's true. It's all your mindset and what you believe, what your framework is, how mentally you perceive the situation to be. So at the time when I was thinking there's nothing to do in Virginia, there really wasn't anything to do because I was never seeking anything to do. As Dinnie and Virginnie, I started actively seeking things to do in the great state of Virginia. So that's the first step. I'm just letting you guys know right now, if you want to find something to do in Virginia, you have to acknowledge and go in with the mindset of there is something to do in Virginia and I'm going to find it. So today is just a little brainstorming session for us to just kind of brainstorm what are our options here in the great state of Virginia. So I have a list. I prepared a little bit more this time. And I'm not going to read directly off of the list, but I prepared a little bit more for this episode and I brainstormed a bunch of stuff before we started. But before I start with that list, I just want to let you guys know this is a conversation between you and me, between all of us, between Virginians. So if you have any ideas, please put them in the comments and contribute because we got to keep the innovation going, keep the momentum going, keep the conversation open. So just because I said something doesn't mean that you can't also contribute to the group because I learn things every day about the great state of Virginia. And so I'd really appreciate it if my fellow Virginians could help me out and also contribute to brainstorming what do we do here? What can we do here? What do we have available? So the very first thing that I want to highlight is something that I have the most experience with becoming Dinnie and Virginnie, and that is parks. Free public parks to go to. There are so many parks throughout the great state of Virginia. At least in Hampton Roads alone. I already know because I've already been to Nova and I went to a park there just on my way back home to Chesapeake. And the park I went to was beautiful. It was fantastic. So I know for a fact there are plenty of free public parks for public use. And they might not all be the same quality. They might not all be the same size. They might not all have the same structure, the same size, or the same amenities. However, there are plenty to choose from. So if you don't like one, you can easily beeline to another one. The best thing about parks is that they are free. They are outside, so they encourage you to get some fresh air and get some exercise outdoors instead of staying indoors. And they're just, like I said, they're usually easily accessible. Typically, they have parking, but like I said, not all parks are made the same. So Keep that in mind. However, that is my number one go-to. If I'm feeling like there's nothing to do, at the end of the day, I can always just beeline it to the nearest park and just enjoy nature, enjoy the sounds of nature and serenity, or I can pop my headphones on and just be lost in my thoughts. So, number one, parks. Number two, your local library. Now, these aren't open as much as parks are because parks are open from sunrise to sunset. So, parks are open for a few more hours, but libraries are typically open from like, I think most of them are open starting at 10 a.m. to maybe around 7, but the time varies. But libraries are a really, really good resource to utilize for all ages, is what's awesome about it. It's not just meant for grade schoolers, everyone. Please, adults, listen to me. Look at me. Adults, you can go to the library and you can take advantage of the resources in the library as an adult. You don't have to be in school anymore. Okay? You can continue going to the library and reading well into adulthood. Throughout your entire adulthood, for the rest of your life, you can continue reading. Please, guys, hear me out. Go to your local library. They are awesome. And they're typically filled with super awesome people. Library people are like some of the most patient, nicest people you can find. There's so many good books in there, from fiction, nonfiction, young adult. The children's section is always usually typically separated. And they have all sorts of activities for your little kiddos. And if you're an adult, if you're trying to learn new skills, there's so many books on many different topics. Lately, I don't know what changed, but I've been into a lot of nonfiction stuff as an adult. So I've just been reading a bunch of self-help, business books, finance books. They have so many books available over there. So you don't always have to, like, if you have a book that you want or been thinking about getting, you can check the library to see if they have it first. And also, they usually have lists of events on the calendar, like that library is hosting it, but also other corporations, other companies, other businesses can use the library to promote their stuff as well. So yeah, use your local library, guys. It's a free and easily accessible thing to do. And once again, there are plenty of different options. So if you don't like one, you can just beeline it to another one. So yeah, number two, libraries. So the next one, you can actually check your city's website to see if they have a calendar of events and what type of places they have available throughout your city. So that's one of the things that all the stuff that I'm going to talk about is stuff that I was either actively doing or considering doing as Dinnie in Virginia to learn more about what's available in the great, great state of Virginia. So the city website for me, I use the City of Chesapeake website, and I started looking at the calendar of events to see what they had going on. But the thing that I had latched onto when I got the app was Peak Outdoors, which was why I started liking parks so much, because Peak Outdoors was encouraging us to go to Chesapeake parks, and you get a little prize if you go to all of them. So that's what I latched onto. But I'm sure different cities have different structures for the websites, but typically they all have a calendar of events, and they all list like museums, shops, restaurants, parks, things to do. So I would just highly recommend going to your personal city's website and see what they have going on over there. If you don't want to travel too far, if you want to know what is right available to do right in your own backyard. Next, social media. This one is a little tricky because of the algorithm. So what I did when I first started Dinnie in Virginia, which I'm not the best at now because I've been distracted by memes. I love memes. That's just my personality. But when I first started Dinnie in Virginia, what I did was I had looked up any accounts or anything. I just looked up Virginia. I looked up 757, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Norfolk, Suffolk, Newport News, Hampton. I was just looking up cities, Richmond, Northern Virginia, DMV. I was just following as much Virginia-based content as I could, content, accounts, videos. And so I was trying to reprogram or build my algorithm so that they were bringing the Virginia content that I wanted to me, and to minimize the amount of work that I had to do to find local events. So a lot of the events that I end up going to came to me by chance. Mainly Instagram is the one that has been giving me the most amount of stuff. I don't know about TikTok. I don't know about YouTube, but I can say for a fact on Instagram, that has been my moneymaker as far as like getting up to date events that are happening right here, right now in my own area and throughout Virginia in general. Is You just have to trick your algorithm into giving you the type of content that you are seeking. And so if you see Virginia stuff, look at it, watch the full video, like it, follow those Virginia accounts. And so that's going to train your algorithm, retrain your algorithm, reprogram your algorithm to start sending you Virginia-based content without you having to actually do the work. And so eventually, because you did all this work up front, just spend one day, just not even a full day, just spend 1 hour, probably just 30 minutes looking up Virginia 757 804, whatever your code is, whatever your city is, whatever your surrounding cities are, whatever Virginia stuff you want to look for, Virginia food, VA foods, whatever, VA Virginia 757 area codes. Just look it up in the search bar and follow all the accounts, like all the videos that you like, make some list of places that you might be interested in going to, and trick the algorithm to start helping you out so that you don't have to do more work in the future. You just do all the work up front, and then the algorithm will start just sending you stuff and sending you places that you can go to and sending you events, because there are plenty of accounts and people who are already doing the work of like telling you what's in each city, telling you events that are happening in this region, telling you events that are happening in this city. There are plenty of accounts that are doing that already. You don't have to do the work. There are people who are already doing the work for you. So I would highly recommend that you use social media to your own advantage. So another thing that I like to do, at least this year, I like to go to concerts. So concerts. I've been really enjoying the concerts that I've been going to this year because the world shut down for a little bit, and so we literally couldn't do that anymore. And so now that I have the ability to, I want to take advantage of that as much as possible. Now, I'm talking both paid and free concerts I've been to throughout the entire year this year, and I typically have a blast. Whether you're by yourself or whether you're with a group, I would highly recommend you try to find somebody to go with, so you have guaranteed someone to bond with. Typically, you're just going to have a good time. So if you like an artist, more than likely they go on tour. So you don't want to be the person who finds out they went on tour and they were right here in your backyard in Virginia, and you missed them because they weren't even on your radar. So if you like an artist, I would highly recommend going to that artist page and looking up their tour schedule, because you don't want to miss when they're like right here. I love it, love it, love it when artists take the time to actually stop in VA, because typically I used to have to go to DC or North Carolina to see some of my favorite artists. But this year I've been seeing a couple more come through my side of the town, Virginia, more specifically Hampton Roads. And that's been really exciting. So concerts is another just wonderful thing to do. Whether you're, like I said, whether you're going by yourself or with other people, just remember, enjoy it, give them your energy so that they can give it back, and just make the best of every situation that you get into. Concerts have been really fun. I always get like some type of merch, and if not, I get a lot of pictures, and sometimes you can make some new friends. Typically, the crowd is pretty cool. So yeah, concerts. That's another option of things to do in Virginia. Next, you can visit, if you have a downtown in your city, you can visit downtown. If you don't have a downtown, you can go to a neighboring city that does have a downtown. But typically downtowns are like the business district, either or, is very concentrated. It has a bunch of like local and big name corporations, shops and restaurants and stuff. Anything that is like walkable is a good place to go for like a concentrated area of stuff to do, things to look at, restaurants to view. Also, a lot of events typically happen in downtowns and business districts as well. So just find your nearest downtowny area. And that segues right into our next option of looking for things to do, is look at the windows. So window flyers can tell you a lot about what's going on where you are at that time. So for example, I was walking around Norfolk, and a lot of the signs had like just random events that are happening, like Christmas events that are going on in that area. So as you are walking in downtowns or business districts, just remember to look in the windows, because a lot of times they'll put up flyers of things that are happening, that are upcoming like recently in that area or the surrounding area. So it's just super easy for you to find something to do. So next, malls. Malls are an option, and you don't have to spend money at a mall. You can window shop, or you can just goof around. I used to do that a lot back in college. Just go to a mall, college, high school, go to the mall and just goof around at the mall. Now, malls aren't as lively as they were in the past. I hope this changes. I really do hope this changes, and that we redirect the overall tone of malls to be more fun. But I can vouch for Lynn Haven. Lynn Haven is definitely my go-to, like if I want something to do, if I want to be entertained, but I don't necessarily want to spend money, but I'll probably spend money on something. I would go to Lynn Haven, so I'll vouch for them. I Chesapeake Square Mall will always be my home mall, but I'll admit it ain't the same. Like it ain't the same. It ain't what it used to be, but still an option. All malls are still an option. As long as they are still in existence, they are still an option. So yeah, malls. You don't have to spend money. You can window shop, but if you want to spend money, go ahead. Live your life, okay? I'm not you. You are you. I'm not you. You are you. So live your life. Another option of things to do. Something that I used to do more often, but I don't really do it as much anymore because I've been enjoying spending time at the parks more, is you can just pick a random local restaurant that you've wanted to try, but you've never gotten around to try, and actually try it. Pick one. I know you follow social media foodies. I know you do. I know you follow all the foodies. So all the ones that you like, ooh, that looks good. Go to your likes, or like just go on their page, find one place that they went to that you like, and just go. Stop looking at it, stop consuming it, go to the place and see for yourself if you like it or not. Because remember, their experience is not necessarily your experience, and their experience could be great, and then your experience could be awesome, like the best experience ever, but it's always going to be different depending on the person. So if there's something that piques your interest, especially if it is a local restaurant that is not a chain, pick one and just go. Pick one, pick a day to go, or just say, you know what, I pick one, I'm going right here, right now. Because at the end of the day, like probably on the weekend, you're going to go to some main corporate restaurant, main chain restaurant, and that money that you spent there, you can just spend it exploring and going to someplace new and having a new experience, and maybe even making new connections, because maybe because it's a small time location, maybe it's more of a personable experience. So check out a local restaurant that you've never been to, but you've always meant to visit. Just actually take the time. Listen to me, people. Stop watching it. Stop watching the content. Stop liking it. Don't just do that. Okay. You can watch and like. You can do that, but don't just do that. Go to the restaurant itself. Go in the doors. Order the food. Eat the food. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the company. Have a good time. Okay. So, and here are the last two things that we can do. Well, there's three things. So the next one is you can spend the day in another city. You can just pick a random city in Virginia and be like, I'm going to go there, pick it, and just go. No plans, just get up and drive and go over there. Another option is to utilize Google Maps, and wherever you are, just like kind of zoom around that area and explore it on Google Maps before physically going there with your vehicle, just to see what's in your area. And if anything catches your eye, go over there, just see if you like it. And yeah, just explore virtually on Google Maps before you actually make the move to go. But the very last thing is get in your vehicle or bike, whatever mode of transportation you use, pick a direction and go. Just go. No plans, no nothing, no worrying, no anxiety, no wanting perfection. Pick a direction, go. And as you're going, as you're driving, if you see something you're interested in, go check it out. If you see anything that piques your interest in any way, shape, or form, stop, check it out. If you don't like it, keep moving. Otherwise, explore that new place. So there's been quite a few places that I have seen where I just stopped because it looked interesting. And so I took some pretty pictures, I took some photos, or I saw like a new business I didn't know existed, or a restaurant or something. And so I just saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, okay, let me just take a beeline. I'm not on a schedule or anything like that. So I took a beeline, went over there, visited it, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. I didn't know we had this. Let's check it out. So yeah, just pick a direction and go. And just just be guided by your heart. Don't have a plan, just be guided by your heart. If you feel like you should be going over there, go over there. If you feel like you should make this left turn, just make this left turn. Just see where life takes you. You know, I think that's one of the better experiences that I've had, like the most like liquid, fluid, like natural experiences that I've had as Dinnie in Virginia, is discovering that you can just get in the car and drive. And that's when you can make like some of the best discoveries of the state that you weren't expecting. So yeah, that was the last thing that I had, guys. If you have any other ideas that can contribute to help people figure out things to do throughout the state, especially during the holiday season, guys, you already know there's going to be so many lights, so many activities, so many festivities happening. I don't want to hear anybody say there's nothing to do between this month and next month. January, okay, I might hear some rumblings of there's nothing to do, but this month and December, there's going to be so much to do for the holiday season. So jump on that, take advantage of it, and take the pictures, because if there's no picture, there's no proof. Not really, but I love taking pictures. So if you like taking pictures, take pictures. If you don't. You do you, boo. So anyway, this is the end of the third episode of Dinnie and Virginnie the Podcast. Remember, like I said, if you have any other ideas about options that you can explore, if you're trying to brainstorm things to do, if you're trying to plan a trip or do anything around the great state of Virginia, please leave it in the comments. Let me know. If any of these tips help you out, please let me know. I just want you guys' feedback, because this is a conversation. Remember, we are Virginians. We are all Virginia Knights or Virginia Knights. So we will be Virginia Knights together, and we will all be a part of this great state, and we will all encompass the culture of Virginia is for Lovers. So that is all I have today on Dinnie and Virginnie the Podcast. So until next time, Dinnie out.